Anaheim Ducks hockey is brought to you by Honda, official vehicle of the NHL and Anaheim Ducks. And by Toshiba, leading innovation. We come inside Honda Center on a Sunday evening, the final of a 5-game homestand for the Anaheim Ducks, as they play host to the Dallas Stars on Hockey Fights Cancer Night here at Honda Center.
Presented by Loma Linda University Hospital. Please welcome back to the ice Annie Sellis, Kathy Stockton, and Nancy Varner of Inland Women Fighting Cancer. Anaheim Ducks captain Ryan Getzlaf and Dallas Stars captain Jamie Benn will now join them for tonight's honorary puck drop. Thank you, and fans, once again, let's hear it for cancer survivors and founders of the Inland Women Fighting Cancer, Annie Sellis, Kathy Stockton, and Nancy Varner. Thank you for your dedication to the Loma Linda University Cancer Center and your commitment to this community.
Just one of many activities surrounding this very special night at Honda Center is Hockey Fights Cancer. It's time for tonight's Keys to the Game, as brought to you by your helpful SoCal Honda dealers. We go to the Anaheim bench for those, and Lisa Hillary.
Thanks very much, John. Brad, Jonas Hiller was superb for you guys the other night. Is he the difference maker for you guys, especially in tight games?
He's been great. He's made those big saves when we needed him, and he's just stellar every night. And when you have that confidence with a guy behind you like that, you're not playing as tight, and keep it a little bit looser.
Thanks for the time, Bob. Good luck.
Thank you.
Johnny?
Thank you, Lisa. Jonas Hiller, undefeated on the young season, as are the Ducks in this building, 4-0. What a start. You couldn't have mapped it out much better for the seventh-year man. A 1.45 goals against and a 9.54 save percentage. I was amazed that save percentage wasn't best in the league after his performance on Friday. But he will go up against Jack Campbell at the other end tonight for the Dallas Stars, who is just hoping, Hazy, I got to think, to make a save off the top. I know it's been a long time. Do you remember your NHL debut and what was going through your mind as you stood there in the crease waiting for the first puck to come your way?
He's going to be nervous, I can guarantee you that. A lot of expectations for this young man to become an NHL goaltender. The Stars have the luxury, of course, normally of having Kari Lehtinen. So with Lehtinen not there, and he is the definitive number one, Dan Ellis has done a pretty decent job as the backup man, but they go to Campbell tonight because the Stars played last night in Los Angeles. Ellis got the nod there. And he would love to have one of those long-range saves here in the early going.
Native of Port Huron, Michigan. He watches Daniel Winnick go in behind his net. He spins it right on goal, and there it is. His first save as he laid the paddle of the stick down to turn that one aside. Campbell, 6'3", listed as 190 pounds. Certainly has that prototypical size that we've seen most NHL teams go to when it comes to their netminders, and Hiller freezes at the other end, and Campbell goes for a skate.
It has, I think, special significance that Jack Campbell makes his debut against the Anaheim Ducks, because the Dallas Stars passed on Cam Fowler to select Jack Campbell 11th overall, which allowed Anaheim. They felt they got a real steal. They did not believe that Fowler would drop all the way to number 12, and he's been a big part of the Ducks. And over 200 NHL games under his belt. Tonight is game number 1 for Campbell.
Well, it's significant to the conversation as well, Brian, because the Dallas Stars have continued in that time frame while Cam Fowler has cut his teeth at the NHL level to look for big-time help on defense. They made a big trade to go out and get Alex Goligoski from Pittsburgh. They signed Sergei Gonchar this past offseason as a free agent. They continue to look to add to their blue line, yet their choice was Campbell over Fowler.
Long stretch pass attempted by the Ducks. Corey Perry just a half step offside. So this faceoff will come all the way back inside Anaheim territory. There's the new head coach, Lindy Ruff, of the Dallas Stars. It sounds funny to say that, doesn't it? I mean,
it looked funny just to see it on the screen
for so many years. The Buffalo Sabres, Bruce Boudreau was talking about that the other day, and he said, I coached a lot against Lindy when he was with the Sabres, and he was actually looking at video of those Buffalo-Washington games when they coached head-to-head. to get a sense of the tactics that Lindy Ruff might use in tonight's game.
16 seasons behind the Buffalo bench. Unheard of in today's day and age in pro sports, regardless of the game, for a coach to have a run like that. And he wasn't out of work for very long.
Oh, he's a top quality guy. He was a hard-nosed player, Lindy Ruff, and he's a pretty hard-nosed coach, known for having teams that really are ultra-competitive in the defensive zone.
Stars come into tonight 3-4 overall on the season, on the heels of a 5-2 loss at Staples Center last night to the Kings. They've lost 3 straight on the road. This is just their 5th road game of the season. They have only 1 win away from the American Airlines Center. Neutral zone play. Are there too many men on the ice?
No,
there?
Matthew Perreault got kneed in the neutral zone, and he went down and was shaken up, and we're going to have a Dallas penalty coming up. Here's the play with Perreault. He's kind of moving laterally. He tries to jump around, and boy, you hate to see that. It's the knee-to-knee contact that sends him down to the ice.
Ryan Garbutt gets the gate. He was the one.
You know, and people often talk about, is that a dirty play? Did he? And I don't think it is. Ryan Garbutt's a fourth-line player. He's not as mobile or as quick to move laterally as other people. And sometimes when you go around the player, like Garbutt, he just can't move as well as other guys. We're going to stick out a leg.
Stars at 81.5% on the penalty kill in the early going this season. Anaheim's power play has been a source of consternation. They've moved it around well. They've authored a lot of shots. They haven't gotten the results they want. It's still just 1 power play goal on the year.
And they haven't won a lot of face-offs. They lose that face-off, but regain possession.
Fowler held it in at the line, and now Getzlaf drops it back. Fowler slides it over. Good puck movement in front, and that's off the post as Perry got a piece of it. Back to the line, Sammy Vatanen. Quickly moves it over, but Solani didn't get much on it. Missing. He'll get it back. Taylor in a familiar spot on the left circle. Gets it to the goal now. Campbell trying to cover, and he gets a whistle. I wasn't sure that Alice Netminder ever covered it, but he got the whistle.
Tell you what,
that's good enough.
Roussel is getting away with a couple of cross checks, and that's why Getzlaf is going over to talk to him. But here's the bid by Corey Perry. The Ducks have done a lot of that on their power play this year, and that is coming close. Perry unlucky as his redirect goes off of the post, and then Teemu Selanne, watch the cross check right here. 1, 2, 3. I mean, that's Roussel aiming for the back of Corey Perry underneath the shoulder pass. And that's going to get the player's attention, I can guarantee you.
Well, not surprisingly, Roussel 6th in the league in penalty minutes in the early going this season. And Perry puts the body into Brendan Dillon. Fowler holds it in. Vatanen wants to trade places, gets it to Solani, tips it over to the captain. Perry backhands it right through the crease. Fowler gets it off the board. Teemu on the left wing half wall into the middle. Vatanen takes it off his skate and gets past handcuff Getzlaf and finds Solani, who scores! The youngster gives up his first NHL goal to a guy who's victimized a few.
A guy who was just breaking into the NHL when he was born. Teemu Selanne, 3 goals in the last 3 games now for the Flash. He's heating up. Boy, what a great pass that was by Ryan Getzlaf. And Selanne holds on to the puck, a little bit of fake that Jack Campbell buys into, and he starts to lean away from that short side. And the right-handed shooting Selanne says, thanks very much, and buries it. The Ducks score a power play goal.
Selanne scored on Friday night against Phoenix in what was his 450th goal as a Duck. And it's another fast start for Anaheim. They score inside the first 3 minutes. Maybe most importantly, it is a power play goal. Gonchar gets one to the Anaheim goal. The rebound collected by the Ducks and moved back the other way. Goligoski tied up his man behind the net. That was Paul Mary, and back the other way, the Stars denied in the neutral zone by Hampus Lindholm. Lindholm quickly for Emerson Edom, and he has it knifed off his stick as he gains the Dallas strike.
Now keep an eye on this defensive tandem of Goligoski and Gonchar. They have really struggled to start this regular season.
Well, Hiller has no idea where that puck is. It dropped out of his equipment twice, once to his left, once to his right, and neither time did he know where it was.
That's a strange play. Sometimes the puck hits the goaltender in an area where he can't feel it, but he doesn't have it covered. You can see that it's not knocked it loose again. The referee rightly does not blow the whistle.
Clean living. He had a couple defensemen there to stuff the puck back underneath him. As Anaheim wins a defensive zone draw, but Dillon will hold it in. Diagonally across, Brian Allen reverses it, and Vatanen lifts the stick of Nichushkin and is able to headman the puck the other way. It comes right through it. Oh, Campbell nearly backing into his net. Had that one just go off of it. Vatanen winds and fires. There's a rebound loose. Swatted to the corner by Dillon.
Yeah, a little bit of nerves, I think, shown by Jack Campbell. He's left a couple of rebounds lying around the front of the net.
I thought it was interesting. Daniel Winnick on the first shift of the game circled the net. Didn't look like he had much of a shot, but made a point to get the puck on net. And now the Anaheim players seem to be reacting to some of those nerves you're talking about, Brian. Vatanen watched that. And the next time he got the puck, he just put his head down and fired away from the blue line. We're going to try to get as many pucks on this young netminder as possible. Campbell's still just 21 years of age. Look at Winnick again, but it's poked off his stick as he gets into the Dallas zone.
And that's the big line of the Stars. Jamie Benn out there on the ice. He is a terrific player, and he, alongside Tyler Seguin, the big threats.
Long shot from the line off the stick of Rich Peverly, and that's held by Jonas Hiller.
Now, speaking of big threats, how about Teemu Selanne at age 43? Well, if anybody wondered, does he have anything left to give? I think he's answered that the last 3 games. 3 consecutive goals for Teemu, and I was talking about the pregame show. We were showing the first of those 3 goals, the first 2 of them, and I said, time slows down for Teemu when he has a goaltender at his mercy. Ask Jack Campbell about that.
5-game scoring streak now for Selanne. Second on the team with 6 points. Here's Getzlaf galloping through the neutral zone, looking for Perry, who will take it off the boards. Fiddler got a piece of it, knocking it away, and it's clear. Roussel puts pressure on in the neutral zone, and it's offside as it was flipped back in by Bushel.
Roussel is out there, John, and I'm watching him, and every time an Anaheim player skates by, he sticks his stick into their midsection. He's playing the role of disturber. He's a guy that the Ducks just want to stay away from in a game like this, because all he's trying to do is to take Getzlaf or Perry off of the ice. If he can do that in an even-up situation, he will have done his job.
39 games a year ago did Roussel, originally undrafted out of the Quebec League. He seems to know his role, as you say, Brian. Only Rebels.
The 8th French-born player in NHL history, Antoine Roussel.
Puck battled out of the Dallas zone as Lovejoy uses the glass to clear.
I thought the French were more passive.
Whitney circles back in his own zone, moves it ahead. A 22-year veteran, Ray Whitney, 41 years of age. Still making it happen offensively. Look at that. From behind the goal, he flipped that puck right into the blue paint, and Anaheim forced to ice it.
They call him the Wizard, and I don't think this was by accident that this puck ends up over top of the crossbar and drops right down into the blue paint. That was an alert clear there. Watch the Ducks defender, Ben Lovejoy, come in, and no messing around. I like that from Lovejoy. Don't try and make a play when that puck's anywhere around your goal crease. Just get it out.
Ducks win the draw, and it's Lovejoy who rims it around. Out to center ice. The Stars forced to retreat before checking pressure coming from Emerson Edom. Trevor Daley now in his 10th season. Has spent his entire career in Dallas. Moves the puck out of his own zone. Eric Cole had it taken away, but he recovers it. Feeds it down low. Sean Horcoff, long-time Edmonton Oiler. Got it back to the point, and Goligoski's shot never made it through. Perry feeds it ahead. Ducks going after it. Off the skate of Penner, he can't get it back. Horkoff pitchforks it wide of the Anaheim goal. Hiller plays it himself. Stars through center, denied at the blue line. A stick check from Corey Perry. Back they come. Brendan Dillon gives it up, heads to the net. Shot went wide and comes all the way around to his point, being covered there by Rich Pepper. Ben from behind the net tries to wrap it around, and Hiller made the save. Quick up to Perry, who nudges it through neutral ice. Ducks will change.
You see the defense pair of Dillon and Robidas. That's the matchup. But their head coach, Lindy Ruff, wants to get Getzlaf and Perry in this game.
Roussel chasing Lindholm, who gets a second chance to move it up the boards, winning. Moves it ahead for Koivu. He has Cogliano with it through center. Knifes him across the line. Pushed it ahead. Cogliano takes a hit. Koivu picks up the puck. His shot was blocked. Gets it back. His backhander didn't make it through. Blocked on the way by Fiddler. Gonchar throws it into the middle of the ice, and Fiddler starts back. Roussel across the line into the Anaheim zone.
Very close to being offside.
Garbutt goes to the front of the net. Fiddler hits the side of it. And away comes Cogliano. It's center red and banks it up the boards into the Dallas zone. Jordy Benn, the brother of Jamie Benn. The defenseman wears number 24. He's out there right now. Moves it around. The Stars from center will get it in as Whitney hammers it up the right board. Cody Eakin chases it to the line and keeps it in the Anaheim zone. Alex Chason down low. Deep on the forecheck, but Solani comes up with the puck and reverses it away. Lovejoy has time. Nice outlet to Solani. Streaking through the middle of Silverberg. Finds a trailer. Foul. That shot picked wide. Solani goes after it in the corner. Perreault gets it back to Fowler. Short pass to Silverberg. He gets it through. Campbell will cover up.
A nice little play with speed through the neutral zone. Silverberg, Solani, and Perreault look dangerous. Tables already got one, and the Ducks have got the lead. A good chat with Cam Fowler the other day after practice. And the ripe old age of 21, won't turn 22 till this December, played a career high 29 minutes Friday's game against Phoenix. And I said to him afterwards, boy, you really looked to me like you were feeling it in that game. He says, it was. I'm pleased with the way my season has started. And I said, I noticed Scott Niedermayer talking to you and some of the other young defensemen the other day. What was he reminding you about? It was just about how we approach people in the corners of the ring. And not just to dive in there. My tendency was always to jump in after the puck. And now I'm being a little bit more patient when players have the puck up against the boards and the corners in the defensive corner. I think it's really helpful.
Clean face-off win for Bonino right to Allen, and that bid is juggled before Campbell gets the handle on it.
Yeah, I think this puck may have been redirected en route to Jack Campbell, and this is a nifty little save. Clean face-off win for Bonino. Let's see if this does change direction. Here's the shot. Yeah, I think it goes off of Dillon and then actually hits Campbell right in the logo. A little bit fortunate that puck sticks close to him where he can snare it.
Campbell got in 40 games a year ago at the American League level, playing for the Texas Stars in the American League. That team plays in Austin. He's given up one so far. If he gives up 4 more, the Ducks score 5 goals. Fans, Hooters will give you 5 free wings. You can print the coupon in the comfort of your own home and head to Hooters, your destination for free wings in Southern California. Face off to the right of Campbell, a product of the U.S. National Team Program out of Ann Arbor, Michigan. Not far from his hometown of Fort Huron. Right across the Blue Water Bridge from Sarnia, Ontario. Good hockey coverage today. Hard work on the forecheck as the Ducks get it back to the front of the net. Koivu sent sprawling as he tried to center. And it's Ben who brings it the other way.
Tell you what, Robidas gets away with a pretty stiff cross-check on Saku Koivu. So things are getting a little nasty in this game.
Jordy Benn off the angle, cutting in off the left boards, and Whitney is dumped at the side of the net. Excuse me, it was Everly who went down as Hiller covered up.
Peverly, another player that came over from the Bruins in that Louis Eriksson deal that involved Tyler Seguin. Veteran player. He's had some health issues, and the Dallas Stars are quite happy to have Peverly back into the lineup.
Had a procedure for an irregular heartbeat during training camp, so they had to wonder whether he was going to be available to them at all. He had a goal and an assist last night in the loss against the Kings.
Around the block, played in Nashville, Atlanta, Boston, down the Dallas Stars, now his fourth team.
And you know, one of those guys that, for me, Brian, I look back and we see Nashville so much. Undrafted originally, as was Vern Fiddler. The Nashville Predators brought him along, and he's become a very serviceable NHL player. And as you mentioned, he had a good long run in the league. Both those players, Fiddler and Peverly, now reside here with the Stars. Fowler on the doorstep, turned away. Again, it was Getzlaf finding a man all alone in front of Campbell.
Knob of the goal stick. That's a fortunate stop for Jack Campbell, and Cam Fowler can't believe it. A great save moments ago by Jack Campbell. It's a very, very fortunate save indeed, because Cam Fowler has got him beaten cleanly. He's going top shelf, and it's off the shaft of the stick. Counts as up and out of play. Fowler couldn't believe it. That's just a tough break for the Young Ducks defenseman.
Face off to the right of Campbell. 9:57 to go. Opening period, 1-0 Ducks. They've outshot the Stars 10-5 to this point.
They've done exactly what they wanted to do. They're playing a team that played last night in Los Angeles, and normally those clubs get off to quick starts because they've got their legs already going by virtue of the fact they just played.
Garbutt plays it to himself off the boards, 2-on-1, and he scores. Ryan Garbutt's first of the year, and we're all square.
The Ducks get caught, 2-on-1 break, and Garbutt makes them pay. Nice shot. Up and under the bar, short side over the glove. The left-hander shooting against the goaltender that catches with the right hand. So quite often they'll think about top of the net. And there's the turnover in the middle of the ice. Sammy Vatanen pinches, and no one was there to cover for Vatanen. Perreault can't catch Garbutt. And it's a pretty darn good shot. Look where this puck goes. That is perfect. Right up into the top corner. Not much chance for Jonas Hiller.
Third-year man out of Brown University, Ryan Garbutt, has tied this game. Got in 36 games a year ago for the Stars. You go back 3-4 years ago, though, he was playing in the Central League with Corpus Christi. And then in Gwinnett in the East Coast League. This guy's paid his dues and earned his stripes.
That's a long way. Older college player. Well, he was playing in the Ivy League. So he got a late start on his pro career.
He and Solani are the goal scorers. We're tied at 1 as Silverberg crashing into the corner. Loses his balance. Puck's underneath him. Robidoux trying to dig it out from under him. And not doing it with a great deal of grace. And finally we're going to get a penalty call as Chasen comes in as well to dump his man.
But there are some liberties being taken here in this game. I've seen Robidoux again working over another player with the stick on the back of the head right there. I mean, that's a cheap shot. And then Roussel is going to come in, and boy, oh boy, that's only a 2-minute penalty, but that's a dangerous hit by Antoine Roussel.
So Anaheim, 1-for-1 on the power play tonight, is going to get their second chance. Cross-checking minor on Roussel, and picks up penalty minutes 28 and 29 on the young season. Ducks came into the game 1-for-27 on the power play. They got a chance to go 2-for-2 here. Solani, Perry, Getzlaf up front. Vatanen and Fowler at the points. And now finally they're going to throw Getzlaf out of the circle.
Would like the linesman to drop the puck
sometime tonight.
At some point tonight.
Vaughn Rody, who finally does. He's working with Mark Wheeler today.
At 10:46.
As the linesman, and Anaheim control. Vatanen, long wrist shot, just misses. Fowler's there to collect the rebound off the end boards. Behind the net net. Stars get it back. It's angled out, but Botman holds it in. Solani gives it up, slides through. Getzlaf now curls off the boards, back for Botman. Right to good captain once more. Looking for a lane to open up. He'll just take the shot, and it's smothered by Campbell.
Good job in front of the net on Corey Perry. That was Gillen all over his back.
Fans can win a 2014 Honda Odyssey this season. We'll give it away on Fan Appreciation Night at Honda Center. Log on to AnaheimDucks.com/Honda Odyssey and enter to win. You must be 18 years of age to participate. 35 seconds gone in the second power play of the night for the Ducks. Tied at 1 with Dallas, 8:38 to go. And Solani wins the draw. Fowler fakes the one-time, hands it off to Getzlaf. Solani from an angle, and that one off of Dallas' stick. Robidoux got his blade below. And Robidoux pulls it off the end boards and skates it to daylight. Perry and Robidoux bumping as the puck tracked down deep in the Anaheim zone as they came up ice. And Fowler broke his stick. Getzlaf is there to pick it up. Cam will go to the bench. Instead of getting a new stick, he'll just change. Lindholm comes over the boards for him. Killer dispatches of Fowler's broken equipment. Botman weaves his way into the zone. Perry tries to get it back. It glances away. Held in at the line. Beverly gets a stick on it, however, and he'll be able to track it down. Half a minute left in the Anaheim man advantage as Robidoux golfs it all the way. Miller angles it away from the forecheck of Vern Fiddler. Palmieri almost left it there for him. Gets it back and starts up. Dumps it up the left board. Bonino in after it. Daly got a stick on it first. Perreault comes over to support. Puck is on top of the dasher. Comes to the front of the net, and the Stars fail to clear. Jason tried to shovel it out. The penalty is over to Roussel. As Perreault brings it to the goal mouth. Bonino tries to stuff it from the goal line. Goligoski throws it up the boards, not out. Perreault sends it into the slot. Nobody home for the Ducks. The Stars will clear. They're trying to change, but they don't get it through neutral ice. Perreault brings it right back in. They just throw it away behind the net. Bonino will get there first. Tyler Seguin bumps him. Bonino trying to knock it away from Goligoski. Boy, it's bouncing all over the place.
Well, the Ducks have ramped up the pressure a little bit on this Stars defense, and given the start to the regular season, that's a good thing because they have really turned the puck over a lot this year. Nick Bonino run over by Ben in front of the Anaheim bench.
Yeah, he went awkwardly into the boards right there between the benches, and the Stars go offside. At the other end is Joe Huff checking with Nick to make sure he's okay.
Well, what happens is Nick Bonino knows that there's a player changing. He sees that the gate is open. Boy, Jamie Benn finishes that check and throws Nick Bonino right towards the open gate, and that can be dangerous.
Bonino, a couple of goals in the last 3 games and 12 shots on goal in that span, which is fairly significant when you consider the ice time for the fourth line center for the Ducks. Right around 11 to 12 minutes a game. But he does get that second power play unit time as well. That's a big goal here on Friday night to force overtime. Ryan Allen with a one-timer that went off the skate of Sergei Gonchar. You mentioned earlier, Brian, this deep pairing with Gonchar and Goligoski has been struggling. Lindy Ruff was quoted earlier this week as saying, everybody knows Gonch is struggling right now, and maybe that's the problem. Everybody does know it, so when they see that deep pairing over the boards, they want to try to apply pressure.
Well, the reality is, too, it's the 2 highest paid defensemen in the Stars lineup. And they need more from that duo if they're going to climb in the Western Conference standings.
Yeah, they're combined minus 12 are Gonchar and Goligoski entering tonight's game. Score on a shot from Dillon off the point that changed direction. And the Stars had their first lead of the night.
I think it was Nichushkin who was cutting through the slot and may have got a touch on that point shot. It goes 5-hole on the goaltender. Here's the good low shot. No, it's off Francois Beauchemin. So tough break for Anaheim. Puck going wide in the net. Off an Anaheim defender's leg in between the wickets. So it's Corey Dillon's goal, and that's a big one. Excuse me, Brendan Dillon's goal. A big one for Dallas.
That's his second of the season. He had 3 last year. Dillon was a very pleasant surprise. The Surrey, British Columbia native played in all 48 games a season ago for the Stars, who bust right back in on the ensuing faceoff, and it's Alex Chiasson who gets a good bid. Chiasson has shown to have some definite goal-scoring chops in his early NHL experience, going back to last season. Whitney couldn't find the handle at the Anaheim line, and now it's Kyle Palmieri to the Dallas zone. He's hit by Dillon. Dillon, who just got the goal, is a physical presence as well on the Dallas zone. 65 penalty minutes last year in those 48 games. Getzlaf has his pocket pick as he tries to enter the Dallas zone. And Peverley rolls it into the middle of the ice. Botman circles the net. Brian Allen settles the puck, but it goes through Getzlaf. Countering back Peverley. Gonchar gives it to Ben. His backhander went wide. Back come the Ducks. Penner through center. Battles his way to the corner. Trying to knock it away from Goligoski. Puck comes loose, and Lindholm finds Getzlaf. Penner below the goal line. Bumped by Goligoski, kicks it free, still possesses. Reverses away behind the net for Corey Perry. Perry ran right into Trevor Daley. Getzlaf seals it off on the near side. Motion from the point, keeps it deep. Perry trying to center for Penner. Broken up, however, and Jamie Benn just lobs it out of harm's way.
The Stars bending but not breaking down low and allowing Anaheim to move the puck around the perimeter, but not allow them an easy entry into the middle of the ice.
Winnick and Jordy Benn in the corner battle for it. It comes to the point. Lovejoy settles it across for Fowler. Wrist shot blocked. Sliding block by Garvin. Winnick recovers the puck again for Fowler. Shot through traffic is tipped over top of the goal. And Fiddler quickly reverses for Ben. Garvin gets a touch on it to center. And Roussel is sealed off at the blue line. Good play by Lovejoy. Quick up finds Winnick, who backhands it into the Dallas zone. Dillon looks over his shoulder. Cogliano gives him a bump. And Roussel nudges it out of the zone. Here's Garvin. Down the left board, centers to an empty slot. Winnick tried to move it up quickly, but he fanned on it. Botman picks it up, and here he goes. Weaves his way into the Dallas zone, only to have his shot deflected out of play. The Stars have taken the lead at Honda Center.
The Ducks defenseman Sami Vatanen has been victimized once by getting caught on a pinch. Here's another pinch by Vatanen, and you'll see him come in. Stop it here, guys. There's Vatanen, but there's Daniel Winnick, an excellent skating, defensive-minded forward. So he's in good support position. Even though the puck gets by Vatanen, he knows that Winnick is in the middle of the ice and has that part of the ice covered off. So you want Sami Vatanen to be aggressive, but I think if he's going to pinch every time, then you have to live with the fact that he's going to get burned every once in a while. And young defensemen in the NHL will learn over time when they need to be more conservative and not compete.
Stars with a 1-goal lead, 2.5 to go in the opening period as Solani comes back and takes the puck away, reverses it, but Nichushkin gets it to Dillon. His shot deflected by Teemu out of play. Stars have a couple of goals tonight. They do not have one, however, from Alex Chiasson, impressive-looking rookie who has made a little bit of NHL history here. He's got 9 goals in his first 13 games in the NHL. He became the first player in 20 years to get 9 goals in his first 10 games, and just the 6th player in the last 70 years, Brian, to do that. The only other active player, of course, pretty good company, Teemu Solani.
Yeah, great start to his NHL career. And, most of that's through hard work. Chiasson can finish, but boy, he goes to the net. That's what you really notice about him more than anything.
Remember last season at the trade deadline, the Stars were here in Anaheim, and they made a lot of changes and they called a number of players up. Chiasson was one of them. We got to see him in one of his earliest NHL opportunities, and he made the most of it, staying with the Stars ever since. Penner brings it into the Dallas zone, drops it off, and Lovejoy's long wrist shot sent to the high glass by Campbell.
Well, this big line for the Ducks, John, is just not playing at a high enough speed right now.
That's not. Reese is over to get one and delivers a big hit. We got a penalty coming up. I'm not sure if we may not get a couple of penalties here, as he rode Stefan Robidas hard into the boards.
And it's a roughing penalty, and it's coming up against Dustin Penner. Again, it's that little short cross-check that he takes exception to, and Dylan draws the retaliation penalty against Dustin Penner. The referees are not calling that short little cross-check tonight here, John. And those little short cross-checks can really hurt if they get into the ribs or above the top of the glove, below the elbow pad.
First Stars power play of the night. Sergei Gonchar, one of the all-time quarterbacks, works at the line. Tyler Seguin gives it back to him. Fakes the shot, hands it off into the middle. Eric Cole scores! A little redirect. It's 3-1.
This is a knuckleball that eludes Hiller. And you can see that the screen, that he is the screen in front of Hiller. Cole doesn't get much on this shot. It just kind of pops up off his stick blade. But look at Horkoff in front of the net. So Jonas Hiller never sees that puck when it goes off of the stick of Cole. And I think it deflects off the leg of Horkoff before it goes past Jonas Hiller.
Yeah, I believe Sean Horkoff's going to get this goal.
So it's a fortunate bounce off the leg of Horkoff. And smiles and says exactly what I was trying to do.
Yeah, it's his first as a Dallas Star. Horkoff coming over after spending his first 13 years with the Edmonton Oilers. And it's a power play goal. The Stars' 5th power play goal of the season. And it's 3-1 Dallas with just over a minute to go here in the opening period.
It's a bad penalty, John. You cannot punch a player in the face and not expect that you're going to get called for a penalty. And so it's a bad penalty, and the Ducks find themselves in a hole here against a Dallas team that played last night that has been very opportunistic in this game.
Here's Garvin. He got the first goal for the Stars, and he shovels a backhander. And Hiller stays on his feet to make a glove save. And we're down to 40 seconds to go in the opening period.
Dustin Penner may find himself in the doghouse after that one. It'll be interesting to see if Bruce Boudreau keeps putting Penner on the left wing alongside Getzlaf and Perry. That line has not been dangerous here in the opening period at even strength.
Each team has a power play goal here as we're in the final minute of the opening period. It's just a brief 2-game road trip for the Stars. 2 road games in as many days. Staying in Southern California. They go back to the Lone Star State after this one tonight. The Ducks head out on a 15-day, 8-game road trip starting tomorrow. First game will be in Toronto at Air Canada Center on Tuesday night. Robidas hard around, just trying to clear. Chiasson shovels it along. And why that's not icing, I don't know. Chiasson swept it along. He was deep in his own zone. There was no one at the point. But as a result, the first period is going to come to a close, and the Stars will take a 2-goal lead in the locker room.
Well, there's no question who was the more aggressive team in the opening 20 minutes. It was the Dallas Stars. They were opportunistic. Didn't have a ton of chances, but they convert 3 times on their 12 shots on goal. And so they play a whale of a first period. The rookie Jack Campbell looks solid in the opening 20, and you can tell by the expression on head coach Boudreau's face he is not happy with the way that first 20 minutes unfolded.
Yeah, Campbell might have been a little shaky early on, giving up the early power play goal to Solani, but his teammates helped him settle in, and the Stars answer with 3 to to take a 3-1 lead after 1 at Honda Center.
He is brought to you by Dollar Loan Center. Get a $2,500 signature loan at one of our 23 bank-style locations. We are Dollar Loan Center. And by Honda, official vehicle of the NHL and Anaheim Ducks.
Back at Honda Center, set to start the second period of play with Dallas on top. And it's time for tonight's Call to the Locker Room, brought to you by Dollar Loan Center. We go down to Lisa Hillary.
Thanks very much, John. Brad, you're out shooting this team 13-12, yet the score would not indicate it. What was the message between periods?
Well, I think the biggest thing is we just got to get our feet going. We've had too many turnovers, and right now we're getting outworked, and right now it's all about effort. We've got 40 minutes here to turn things around.
Thanks, Brad. John?
Thank you, Lisa. Well, we're going to have a second goaltender make his NHL debut in this game tonight as the Ducks make a change and Frederick Anderson comes in, the 24-year-old out of Denmark, who came up a couple of times last year, hazy, but just backed up as he had an outstanding season in Norfolk a year ago and has already started well down there. He is going to spell Hiller to begin the second period.
And you can see by that shot right now that Frederick Anderson is a large human being. He fills up an awful lot of net. Played in the Swedish Elite League before he came over to North America. He was #1 goaltender over there. And talking with Dwayne Roloson about Frederick, and he said, you know what, this guy is a good goaltender. It's not going to be long that he's playing in the National Hockey League, and how prophetic was that statement?
24 wins in 47 games a season ago in Norfolk and a .929 save percentage at the American League level. His goals against last year was just a shade over 2. He had an outstanding first year playing in North America. He just turned 24 years of age 2.5 weeks ago. He comes in for Hiller, who gave up 3 goals on 12 shots in the opening 20 minutes, and we're underway here in the second. Robidas moves it quickly for Dillon, and the man open in the middle is Tyler Seguin. 3-on-2. Here come the Stars. Seguin gets the return feed off the wing from Jamie Benn, but can't do anything with it, and Anaheim clears it back the other way. Winnick moves it into the middle for Getzlaf. Stick handles into the Dallas zone. Fires it in front. Score! Great redirect. Corey Perry. It's 3-2.
What a pass by Getzlaf. Getzlaf hits the brakes, spins back towards the blue line, and just drills this pass. Gains the blue, little toe drag, stop, spin, and he rips it. And Corey Perry just lays the stick blade down on the ice. And there's just no chance whatsoever for the goaltender here. What a play. Pretty. The Ducks pull within 1.
The captain just gunned that thing over there, didn't he?
Well, that's the key. I mean, for a player to redirect it, especially the angle with which Corey Perry was screaming down the slot, difficult to really one-time that puck just by laying the stick blade down because there was so much zip put on the pass that allowed him to redirect it.
And it's a quick start as Anaheim gets a goal less than a minute into the second period. Perry has led the Ducks in shots on goal each of the last 5 years. He leads them in shots on goal again this year. That's his 4th goal, and that ties him for the team lead in that category as well. Eakin from behind the Anaheim goal trying to feed it to the point, but it was broken up by Botman, and it's Perry off to the races into the Dallas zone, trying to get around Trevor Daley, and he doesn't have any success. Eakin, the centerman, picks it up behind the net and leads it long up the left side, but misses his intended target. There was a stick laying in the way. Ray Whitney unable to connect on it, so icing is the call.
Well, exactly what the doctor ordered for the Ducks here in the early going in the second period. They get on the board, make it a 1-goal game, and hopefully can generate a little bit of momentum off of that.
Face off to the left of Campbell. Perreault, top face-off man so far this season for the Ducks. Takes the draw but can't win that one. Matthew Perreault, the leading scorer for the Ducks coming into tonight as well. 5 assists and 7 points. 3-2, Dallas has the lead. The Ducks have goals from Solani and Perry. Brian Allen wanders back to pick up the puck chipped in. Dallas trying to change. Ducks in a hurry. Silverberg pulls up high, hard one, and Campbell had no idea where it went after it hit his blocker.
I guarantee you that Jack Campbell does not see many shots like the one that Silverberg possesses in the American League.
Solani lays it back to the point, and Boschma's shot is off a Dallas stick and out of play.
You know, we marvel at it now. We watch him every day in practice. We've seen some of his goals this year. But it doesn't really look like he's putting a lot on it. Trust me, folks, there's a lot of zip on that shot. A little wrist shot from Jakob Silverberg. That's a throwback, that wrist shot, with a lot of steam behind it.
Face off again to the left of Campbell. Bonino chased it to the boards. Continues to pursue on the forecheck. Out there with Emerson Edom and Kyle Palmieri, the fourth line for Anaheim, if you will. The Stars break out. Look at the Anaheim zone. Eric Cole with a bomb, and there's the first save for Frederik Andersen, and it sticks to him nicely. Just a reminder, as you sit back and enjoy a cold one, stay tuned. Coming up later on tonight, it'll be Miller Time, as brought to you by, of course, our friends at Miller Lite.
I like watching Frederik Andersen in practice. He doesn't move much out of that goal crease. He's a big man, and he's very comfortable just kind of hanging around the crease. Bigger guys don't have to overplay situations because they just naturally take up a little bit more space.
Makes a save on a sharp angle shot out of the corner there. Andersen, of course, summons from Norfolk of the American League on Friday because Victor Foss, unable to go due to a lower body ailment, flared up at some point after practice on Thursday. Foss had been in goal on Wednesday in the win against Calgary. So Andersen becomes the third goaltender already this season to appear in net for Anaheim in just their 8th game. Penalty coming up to the Stars as Getzlaf rifles it across, and unable to handle the pass was Beauchemin just as Andersen was getting to the bench for the extra attack.
We got a slashing penalty coming up here, and boy, the Stars, who I thought got away with a few in the opening period, put themselves in a little bit of a hole. Garbutt's not sure if the penalty is against him or against another Dallas player. It's a slashing call, and let's see it. It's onto the hands of Corey Perry, so he does not get his money's worth on that little chop. He does make contact with the hands. It'll cost him a couple of minutes. And boy, what an opportunity here. It's the Anaheim power play. They already have one goal under their belts tonight.
Third opportunity of the night for Anaheim. And they'll start the second power play unit out there as Perreault is out with Silverberg, Bonino, Palmieri, and Lindholm. Palmieri, the forward, will man the left point, the right-hand shot. And with some help from his friends, Perreault wins the draw. He'll work that right wing half wall down low with Bonino. They trade passes. Perreault has it knocked off his stick, and it's swept away by the Stars' penalty kill. Lindholm back to pick it up. +9 coming into tonight. Lindholm shares the team lead in that particular category. Hands it off to Bonino, who lobs it in. Nick gets it back and gives it to Lindholm at the right point. Quickly across for Palmieri. Hard shot. Campbell takes it off the stick straight up in the air.
Jack Campbell was not square to that shot by Kyle Palmieri. He looked a little bit uncomfortable.
And again, that quick release might cross him up a bit. Lindholm's shot tipped on the way, and Perreault gets it back. Wide open coming across Palmieri. The pass was a touch behind it. Bonino put some zip on it. Kyle did a good job to keep possession. Now Lindholm at the line with a minute to go on the power play. Wrist shot blockered away by Campbell. Perreault lets it come through. And Bonino at the far hash mark has it dug out from underneath him by Horkoff, who will ice it.
Now, that was a good sequence for the Ducks' second power play unit there. They threatened. One glorious opportunity was to pass across to Kyle Palmieri. That would have been the real dangerous chance.
Now Botman starts up. Wide open Getzlaf on the wing. Thinks better of the shot. Holds the puck. Back for Sammy Botman. Once more to the captain. He returns the favor. He winds and fires. It trickles through. And Campbell's on top of it.
Good-looking play. Shot from the middle of the ice. Always a shot from the middle of the ice is the most dangerous. You see the traffic in front of Campbell, and As a goaltender, you just get down, you squeeze your elbows into the body to try and take away any opportunity for the puck to slide through you. That one sticks right underneath young Jack Campbell, but he looked a little bit uncomfortable, John, a little bit off balance.
Campbell was recalled from Texas to the American League 8 days ago. First NHL appearance, his first NHL start. The other end, Frederick Anderson, in his first NHL appearance. Fowler, that one sounded like it may have hit Campbell in the mask. And there's a quick shot from Penner, and Campbell covers the rebound.
Now they ramp up the pressure. The initial save by Campbell was a beauty because this puck is going to be redirected. Here's the shot again from the middle. There's Penner in front. Boy, with a nice little redirect. And Campbell, fortunate as that puck sticks to him, and then Penner again from close range, denied by the Stars netminder.
6 shots on this Anaheim power play. They have 11 power play shots in the game in their 3-man advantages.
They're winning faceoffs in the offensive zone. That's a big difference for them.
Penner takes this one, ends up with a puck in the slot, gets it through. Perry can't get to the rebound. Robidoux knifes it away. The penalty is over to Garbutt. The Stars full strength. Anaheim still with possession. Curling off the boards. Penner, tic-tac-toe against the block, but he was tied up. And we got another player down. It's Penner, who lays in a heap outside the top of the circle. He pulled that puck off the far boards and brought it into the middle of the ice. I did not see, Brian, what happened to him.
No, I did not either. See if we can pick it up. I mean, he pulls it into the middle, and he's going to get demoed.
Oh,
right there, boy. Is that an elbow? Garbutt out of the box, comes across, and jumps, leaves his feet, and drills Dustin Penner in the head. My goodness. So the linesmen will be over talking to the referees and letting them know what they saw, but I didn't see it. But Dustin Penner is in trouble.
Yeah, he's in some distress right now, and Joe Huff attends to him as his teammates stand by. And he will get up with the aid of his line mates.
And you can see how unsteady on his feet Dustin Penner is.
Yeah, the principal point of contact here appeared to be the head. And as you mentioned, Brian, Garbutt flying out of the penalty box leaves his feet.
Oh, watch him jump. He releases the shot, and that's an elbow to the head of Dustin Penner. You see it from this angle. Penner did a great job pulling that puck into the middle and getting it down low. You see it, his head down. But boy, oh boy, that's a cheap shot.
And that's a defenseless player.
You know, I don't believe there's been any penalty called on the play.
No.
But I can tell you this much. They're watching in Toronto, and that play will be reviewed.
Face off in the neutral zone, as the reality of sports is you must see something like that and then return to play. Anaheim with good pressure off the power play that came up empty a moment ago. They're now 1 for 3 on the power play, and Ben just overskates it coming out of his own zone. His brother Jordy takes it back from Koivu, however. And a good pinch up the wall by Beauchemin keeps the puck in. Winnick unable to get his shot through, and Jamie Benn the other way. The late offside will be waived as the Stars get onside, and Lindholm ahead for Cogliano. He bumps with Jordy Benn. Koivu comes in, tries to fire it in front. Vatanen goes to the wall but can't seal it off. Rich Peverly the other way. Chips it into the Anaheim zone. Stars want to change. Here's a pass off the boards for Bonino. Turns and fires as he had Palmieri with it. Up and down we go. 3-2. The Stars have the lead as Chiasson in behind the Anaheim goal. Bump off the puck by Vatanen. Comes into the middle of the ice. It's protected by Cam Fowler. Edom chips it off the boards trying to get around Goligoski, and he can't.
Goligoski really changes his positioning to make sure Emerson Edom can't get to that loose puck.
Fowler kicks at it along the end boards as Cody Eakin knocks it away. And the puck trickles out of the zone as Chiasson couldn't keep it on his stick. Now it's Chiasson, drags it back. Played 3 years of college to chase on at Boston University. Off the skate of Cole, it comes right to Boschman. Tries to move it ahead for Solano. Teemu has Perreault with him. Gets it to Perreault down low, looking for Silverberg. Instead, he skates it right into the blue paint. Everybody meet at the goaltender.
Oh, love this play. Love this play by Matthew Perreault. The youngster Jack Campbell does a real good job here. Perreault is just trying to jam it short side, and look at Silverberg fighting for position as well.
While we were away at the behest of public address announcer Phil Hewlett, the fans at Honda Center were asked to stand up and display their I'm Inspired By cards, all part of Hockey Fights Cancer Night here at Honda Center. As you place the name of someone in your life who inspired you to help in the fight against cancer. A poignant moment. If I had one, it would have my father's name on it.
Pretty emotional moment here in Honda Center, to be honest with you. Saku Koivu, we saw the feature between periods about his battle with that disease.
If there's anyone in the barn tonight who has not been touched in their life by cancer. Hockey Fights Cancer celebrating its 15th season in the National Hockey League. Glad to be a part of it tonight here in Anaheim. Getzlaf handles back in the Anaheim zone and feeds it up right wing. A lot of space for Corey Perry. 3-2 to start. Have the lead. Anaheim with the only goal in the middle frame. Getzlaf bats it out of midair and fires it deep as the Ducks finish a change.
It's Kyle Palmieri who has taken the spot on the wing for Dustin Penner along with Getzlaf and Perry.
In case you missed it moments ago, Dustin Penner had to be helped to the Anaheim locker room after he took a hard head hit from Ryan Garvin. So that'll shuffle the deck a little bit for Bruce Boudreau. Boschman gets it to the net. Campbell blockers it to the corner. Perreault gets there first. Behind the net for Solano. Right in front and through Silverberg, who was knifing right down the slot.
That was a nice play by Nichushkin, who got back to take the stick away of Jakob Silverberg. Good play by the youngster.
Ducks bring it right back in, and it's punched away by Campbell as Solano was driving the net.
The Ducks are piling up the shots on goal here against the youngster Campbell. He's been very good in this second period.
Beverly works down low. Sagan for Ben. The shot went wide. Beverly nearly sneaking out at that far post, able to get to it. Gonchar pinches, works it deep, played off the back of the net. Nifty looking play there by Sagan. He's a nifty looking player. That's why he was taken second overall back in 2010 as we get a whistle. And it's been a while, Hazy, but a little bit of history here tonight. For the first time in nearly 8 years, two goalies make their NHL debut in the same game. Actually, a little over 8 years ago.
Last time it was Yan Denis and Michael Garnett. Boy, lately it's all been Jack Campbell. Quite honestly, the Ducks have got 13 shots on goal in the last 5 minutes of play. And so Campbell being tested. Shots now 28-15 in favor of Anaheim. And we've mentioned it several times. The Stars playing last night. The Ducks just want to keep that pressure ramped up.
Now, all of a sudden, this game resembling the Ottawa game, at least from a shot standpoint. And a nice job by Anderson to take that one on the short hop. He has only seen 3 shots since he came in to begin the second period. Still time to become a season ticket holder or a mini plan holder this season. And if you do, you'll get priority access to the 2014 Coors Light NHL Stadium Series. Of course, this year that means the Ducks and Kings at Dodger Stadium. Go to AnaheimDucks.com for more information. Anderson looked like a middle infielder the way he took that last shot on the short hop. Speaking of Dodger Stadium, the Stadium Series. Fowler off the one face-off by Koivu. Takes it up the right boards and angles it to center. Stars bank it right back in. Ray Whitney pulls up, puts it on net, kicked away by Anderson. Stars were driving the net hard there, but Anderson kicks the rebound past them. Koivu is open and gets it from Lovejoy. Into the zone. Wanted to drop it off to Cogliano. Instead in front. And Winnick really got a piece of it.
You know, I really like to see Daniel Winnick driving that lane, getting to the front of the net. That's good.
Yeah, Botman goes down in front of the Dallas bench. does get possession back, and Cogliano gives it back to Sammy, moves it over and chipped over top of the goal. Rifling in on the sharp angle was Palmieri.
It's exciting, isn't he? Sammy Vatanen, he is always up on the play. You know, he's going to get caught at times. There's no question about it. But boy, he adds a lot.
Nice long stretch pass through the middle. Perry trying to find Palmieri, but Gonchar recovered. 19-year veteran Sergei Gonchar came over in the offseason. Deal from the Ottawa Senators. Second. Bouncing puck now comes to Silverberg. Getzlaf into the middle for Perry. Big save, Campbell, and he kicks it right past Corey Perry. Getzlaf knocks it away. Silverberg gets to it. Boschma keeps it deep, and we got a penalty coming up to the Stars.
Great pressure here by Anaheim, and right now it's the Jack Campbell show because the Ducks, with another point-blank chance, denied by the Stars netminder. This one with Sammy Vatanen.
Welcome back to Honda Center. Andrew, a lot of pressure there just now. What do you have to do to sustain it on this young goaltender, Jack Campbell?
I think we just got to keep getting pucks in. I think we're doing a good job of getting on the defenseman and creating turnovers. And he's a young goalie. If we can shoot as many pucks as possible, we'll have a good chance of scoring. So.
Thanks, Andrew. Johnny?
Sean Horkoff off for hooking, so Anaheim begins their fourth power play of the night. They're 1 for 3. It was a week ago tonight. Anaheim peppered another young goaltender, Robin Leonard, with 56 shots in a 4-1 win over the Ottawa Senators. They're about on that pace again tonight, Brian. 30 shots on goal on Campbell. We just passed the halfway mark of the hockey game as the Stars throw it off the glass and out of play.
And the power play, the difference too in this game, John, is that the power play has been able to get established a little bit more often. And with Dallas playing kind of a chippy game, you don't get the feeling that the Stars are going to be able to stay out of the penalty box the rest of the way in this one tonight. So power play, which has been their Achilles heel all season long, this might be the kind of game that it can definitely be the difference maker.
And those numbers we just saw lead you to believe that the message was loud and clear. Tipped in by Perry off the Fowler point shot. It's another power play goal.
They promised to simplify, and this is about as simple as it gets. Corey Perry goes right to the front of the net. Watch Perry, number 10. He's going to get set up and block out the goaltender. And it actually goes off of the defenseman Dylan's stick. I thought it was Corey Perry's goal, but watch this angle. Right there is the touch. Perry gets out of the way, and it's up into the top corner. The Ducks catch a break, and the goal belongs to Cam Fowler.
Well, you talked about the tough luck he had in the first period, Brian. He hit the shaft of Campbell's stick on a point-blank opportunity. What goes around comes around. And Fowler will get the power play goal instead. And we're all square. A brand new hockey game tied at 3 with just over 8 to go in the second. Remember last season too, Brian? Cam Fowler had some real tough luck when it came to goal scoring. I remember that. His one goal on the shortened season came very late in the year. And it sure was a load off his shoulders. So he gets the first goal much sooner this year. Although they've announced it in the building as Perry's goal, I think upon further review, to coin a phrase, that will change. So now it's Frederik Andersen's game. And Dallas works in the Anaheim zone. The Danish netminder making his NHL debut came in to start the second period trailing 3-1. We're now tied at 3 as Rich Peverly drags it along the boards in the far corner of the Anaheim zone. Boschma knocks it away, trying to shovel it up the wall. It's Cogliano, but it's turned back. Now time and space for Boschma. Has a little trouble getting it off the base of the dasher. And Cogliano is hit. Peverly knocked down by Boschma, and now Anaheim has full control.
And that shift kind of summed it up for me for Dallas. John, they didn't have the energy to sustain that forecheck in the Anaheim zone, and that's the team playing their second game in 2 nights.
Cogliano with a collision in front of the bench with Goligoski and a conversation that ensued from there. Botman loses his stick. And I believe he's going to get called for holding here, as he did what he could with Horkoff after that.
Yep. This is a smart play by Sean Horkoff. He's hard on the puck, and he knocks the stick out of Sammy Botman's hands right there. And then the grab by Botman is going to cost him 2 minutes. Here's what the fans were upset about, was the shot from behind on Andrew Cogliano again in front of the Anaheim bench. That was Goligoski that got him. Critical moment in this game. I mean, the Ducks have clawed their way back. They've got it back to tie. Remember, Dallas has already scored a power play goal in this one tonight.
Stars are 1 for 1 with the extra man as battles the puck back to Sergei Gonchar at the point. Into the middle. Fowler does a nice job to intercept. Trying to find Chasen. Let the Stars get it back. Peverley can't settle it as he came off the right point. Hard across, and the shot blocked on the way as breaking his stick was Ray Whitney. Anaheim gets full possession and finally rifles at the length of the ice as Lovejoy puts it right on goal from 175 feet. Whitney's broken stick still lays in the middle of the zone as Peverley brings it back in. Around the boards. Gonchar at the line now across for Peverley. 45 seconds gone as they discard of Whitney's stick. Whitney, far circle, fakes the shot. Passes right through everybody. Peverley gets it back. Cogliano battles him for it. Hard around for Whitney. Pressured immediately by Emerson Edom. Into the middle, chase out. They move it down low. Batted on in midair by Bolsonaro. Great play.
Well, good aggressive play by the forwards up top in Edom and Cogliano. Really pressuring the puck, forcing the Stars to make quick decisions.
Errant pass that Allen plays back. Bolsonaro tries to go up the middle. And on a second effort, Anaheim clears. Perry and Getzlaf now the penalty-killing forwards, and Getzlaf applies the pressure. Seguin moves it ahead. And full flight through the neutral zone. Here come the Stars. Jamie Benn had to settle. Couldn't pull the trigger. Took it behind the net. Tyler Seguin fires it all the way across for Benn, who looks up into the middle. Eric Cole. Anderson with a save, and it's swatted out of harm's way.
That's a big stop. Boy, what a nice looking play that was into the middle.
Jordy Benn across for his brother, who returns the favor. Into the middle, Cole touches it over. Botman's out of the box. The Ducks full strength, and a penalty coming up to the Stars.
Yeah, it's going to go against Cole, I believe. Or it's Horkoff who interferes with Ben Lovejoy. So big stops by Freddie Anderson, and the Ducks head out onto the power play next. Well, the power play was the story going into this game because they couldn't find the goal tonight. They bury a couple so far. First one belonged to Teemu Selanne. It was Cam Fowler's point shot that resulted in the Ducks' second power play goal of the game, and they got another opportunity here with 4.5 remaining in this second period.
You and I talk about it all the time, and I always ask you, defensemen trying to block shots, I get it, that's one thing. But that last one, Dylan is just coming into the slot and waves his stick at that shot. I can't think that that is what Jack Campbell wants his defense to do. Anaheim keeps it in. Pass across, broken up as Lindholm now has to try to recover on Garbutt. He does! And Garbutt went hard into the end boards. He is shaken up. Ducks in a virtual 5-on-3 right now as they hurry the other way. Silverberg behind the net. Contested. Gets it to Palmieri. Lindholm down low trying to get it back to Silverberg coming out of the corner. Great puck recovery. Palmieri keeps it alive. Rifled wide by Bonino. It'll come around and out.
What a play by Lindholm to get back. He's a surprisingly fast skater. I mean, he's one of those guys that doesn't look like he's taking a lot of strides, but he is picking up significant speed.
Something about adrenaline, however, Brian, when you're the one who coughed it up, though, right? Tends to definitely come into play. Now Fowler has space. Looking for a tip. Oh, Perry just couldn't keep the handle on it. And Campbell gets the whistle. He didn't have the puck, but he got the whistle.
Ducks just swarming the goal crease. And credit the young goaltender here for just scrambling. Nice play. Little delay play that time by Fowler to get that puck through to Perry. And there's the puck by his stick. Let's go back to that defensive play by Lindholm. If he gets the puck, it's not a trip. And he got the puck first before he got the legs of Ryan Garbutt. Puck, then the legs, and that's why there was no penalty called against Hampus Lindholm.
Still 40 seconds left in the power play, but the Stars control the draw. And Roussel sends it all the way down. Look at Anderson send it all the way back.
Yeah, I don't like that from goaltenders, John. If you're not 100% sure on that pass, I'd much rather see them stop it. That's a hook right there, and don't call it again. Boy.
Solani hooked down, Ducks get it back, and Lindholm Fowler gets a shot through. Campbell doesn't have it, and now this time they do wait, and at the side of the net, Perry's going to go with Roussel. I don't know about Mark Wheeler jumping in as quick as he did there. The linesman stops it before it can escalate.
Well, that's all fine with the Ducks. They don't want Corey Perry fighting with a knucklehead like Roussel. I mean, that's what all Roussel wants is to get one of Anaheim's top players off of the ice.
Well, it goes right back to all those short little cross checks that you started talking about early on, Brian. Watch the end of this play. They're going on all over the place.
Well, here's the hook I thought on that Beverly got away with on Teemu Solani, sticking to the midsection. There's the shot. Good stop by Campbell. The Ducks, hungry for the rebound, are swarming the goal. But Roussel, I mean, he launches a couple of punches. I mean, that should be an extra 2 minutes against Roussel. This is the nonsense that we have seen from Roussel throughout this game. The short cross-checks have been vicious, and they've been, for the most part, uncalled. It's been a chippy game.
Both Perry and Roussel are going to end up getting 4 minutes, double minors for roughing here at 17:11 of the second period. So the Ducks lose one of their top power play threats.
Yeah, and that's, Roussel, that's his job. I mean, he just did his job. He got Corey Perry off the ice in a power play situation and did not end up with an extra minor penalty in doing it. So, to me, if I'm Lindy Ruff, I say good job, Roussel.
Final seconds of the power play tick off as Anaheim chips it into the Dallas zone, and both teams full strength. As Sean Horkoff out of the box. Horkoff has taken consecutive hooking penalties in this game for the Stars. Cogliano works down low and gets it back for Toivonen. Into the middle off Winnick's stick. He's tied up, continues to battle as they kick at him. And Robidas won't let his stick free, and now a penalty for an elbow. Going to go again?
I don't know, but it's getting nasty out here.
Well, this has been going on for a while. Garbutt's back out on the ice. Brendan Dillon mixing it up.
The Stars had possession of the puck, but I don't think the penalty was being called against them.
I agree with you. That's why I said I'm not sure who this is going against. The indication was an elbow, but Dallas did have possession when the play was whistled down. So let's see if we can pick it up here.
Here's the battle for the puck. Cogliano was in there. It's a one arm and a dive. Watch this with Winnick. Well, he got him in the face. Looking at it from that angle, he gets Garbutt in the face. But Garbutt shouldn't even be in this game. Should have been tossed on the high head hit against Dustin Penner. But we've seen consecutive shifts now where Roussel has got Corey Perry off the ice. Garbutt has drawn a penalty. So the plumbers of the Dallas Stars are doing their job.
Stars begin their third power play of the game as Winnick goes off to the elbow. Ben's pass across, and he was looking for Seguin and hopped his stick. Getzlaf will do the honors. Campbell handles it behind the goal. Tied at 3, inside 2 to go in the second. A 7-second difference between the penalty clock and the time remaining in the second period. And that puck went off a Dallas player and not a play as Brian Allen went to clear it. Faceoff should come back out to neutral ice, and it will.
Stars have got 5 power play goals on the season. So certainly they have enough top-end talent and enough real heady players on the power play to really make you hurt. I find it interesting in that last night we saw them use Ray Whitney back on the blue line for a significant portion of that game on their power play. I think because this is their second game in 2 nights and Whitney's an older player that Lindy Ruff doesn't want to take that gamble.
Ben's shot kicked away. Emerson Edom shorthanded, 2-on-1 with Cogliano. Cole hustles back. Edom takes the shot that goes wide. And Cogliano tracks it down as Allen kept it in. Edom to the front of the net. Off the crossbar, scores!
What a goal! What a beautiful goal. Short-handed, Cogliano and Edom. Wow! First of the season for Emerson Edom, and this is a beauty. What a great pass. Not unlike the Corey Perry goal from earlier, John. Cogliano zips this puck to Emerson Edom, and he just shovels it up into the top corner. That is a pretty shorthanded goal for Emerson Edom.
Edom had a couple of shorthanded assists last year. Well, that's his first shorthanded goal. He's been so dangerous on the penalty kill from day one for Bruce Boudreau. And that shorthanded goal gives Anaheim the lead back. And now we're under a minute to go in the period. Still on the power play are the Stars. As Jordy Ben flips it in. Gets it from Lovejoy, and he goes right up the middle all the way down. Brian Allen will get the secondary assist on the shorthanded goal. As again, it's Ben into the Anaheim zone. Whitney gives it back to Jordy Ben. Ray Whitney rifles it in front. Eakin couldn't handle it cleanly. Fowler forces it to the perimeter. Whitney out of the corner, shovels it back through the crease. A backhanded by Beverly wide. Whitney can't pull the trigger from below the goal line. Stars get it back as the penalty expires. Jordy Ben for Ray Whitney. That went wide. Anderson didn't see it. He got to the far post, nearly knocking the net off. And the Ducks will clear the hard way as the period comes to a close. What a turn of events. Anaheim came into the second period down 3-1. They made a goaltending change, and the scoreboard has changed.
John, I said at the end of the first period there was no pushback from the Ducks. In the opening 20 minutes, they dominate the second. I don't know what was said inside that locker room. They looked like a different team. Much more assertive. And Frederik Andersen, although not significantly tested, makes a couple of NHL caliber saves to keep the Stars off the board. What a hockey game. Really entertaining here tonight at Honda Center.
3 unanswered in the second, and Anaheim has the lead back. All rights to this broadcast are reserved, and any rebroadcast, recording, retransmission, or other use of this broadcast without the express written consent of the Anaheim Ducks is expressly prohibited. A 4-3 Ducks lead as we move towards the start of the third period of play in time for tonight's AT&T Rewind. Last night in Phoenix, Mike Smith, we talked 2 nights ago about how much he likes to handle the puck, Brian Hayward, became the 11th goaltender in NHL history to score a goal, and this was a buzzer beater. That baby goes in with about 1/10 of a second left.
A great moment for Mike Smith and an impressive home win for them over the Detroit Red Wings. So good job, Mike Smith.
Ryan Getzlaf now has 7 points in his last 5 games. That's during a scoring streak because he has 3 helpers so far tonight.
Well, you know what? He really has ramped it up in this game. That was the power play assist for Teemu Selanne. This was him setting up Cam Fowler on the doorstep, and that was just unlucky. It's the shaft of the goaltender's stick, but a brilliant pass to Corey Perry and a face-off win leading directly to this goal that has been credited, by the way, to Corey Perry. The shot by Cam Fowler off the stick of the defenseman Dillon, and I'm assuming that the NHL offense officials have ruled that that puck glanced in off of the arm or shoulder of Corey Perry before going over the line.
Yeah, you and I were talking before the period began. That's got to be the only way that I think that they would credit that goal to Corey Perry as we get an icing call just 7 seconds in to begin this period. Nonetheless, it's the Edom goal, shorthanded. in the waning moments of the second period that right now stands as the difference in this game. Face-off will be to the right of Jack Campbell, making his NHL debut tonight in goal for Dallas. Lindholm's shot is blocked, and he's going to take a penalty on Eric Cole as he interferes with him. Cole would have had an unabated path once he'd have gotten to that puck, and he's got some open ice speed, so that may not be a bad penalty taken by the youngster.
Yeah, a little bit of a young rookie mistake. There he tries to force a shot through that gets blocked. And then to cover up for that error, he makes sure that Eric Cole can't get a gimme of a scoring chance. So Hampus Lindholm will sit down and nervously watch the next couple of minutes.
Fourth power play chance of the night for the Stars. They're 1 for 3.
We'll see if they go for that high tip play again. It has worked effectively for them in this game.
Tyler Seguin works the left wing half wall. His pass through Cole. Filtered back to the line. Jamie Benn holds it in. Hard around for Seguin. Seguin with 10 points in the last 5 games entering this one here tonight. Leading scorer for the Stars in this his first season in Dallas Green. Gonchar slides it across. Wrist shot. Got through. Anderson trying to smother it. He's way out of his crease and finally does.
Good job by Freddie Anderson. A big man gets down early and just seals off the bottom of the net. There's the shot. There's the rebound, but you see he keeps that left leg planted against the short side goalpost. Now he's drifting a little bit.
A la Dominik Hasek dropped his stick there at the end. Here's a good look at Sergei Gonchar, the number 10 all-time power play goal scoring defenseman in NHL history. And the Stars certainly were hoping for more out of him, at least in the early going. Ryan, he has 1 point this season. We were talking about Dallas's power play earlier. Now they're looking for somebody to quarterback this unit. I know they were thinking Sergei Gonchar was going to be that guy.
They signed him to a 2-year deal, $10 million. So they've made a big investment in Gonchar being that guy.
Gonchar was the 4th leading assist man amongst blue liners last season in Ottawa, so it's not like they were really taking a flyer on him. He's continued to have that big offensive upside, but not in the early going for his new team. He stays out on the power play, and Anderson gobbles up the long wrist shot from Rich Peverley. We were talking earlier about the defensive pairing of Gonchar and Alex Goligoski. What many people thought would be the top pairing for the Stars this season, but the numbers don't bear it out in the early going.
They're playing a lot. You can see that, almost 20 minutes a game each, but both significantly under par. And again, I know it's not supposed to be about the money, but in a hard salary cap
It's hard
league,
not to be, isn't it?
it's about the money. Your highest paid players have to be your better performers, or your team's not going to win.
Anderson very calm looking on that glove save from traffic. Young man. Spelled Jonas Hiller, if you're just joining us after the first period of play. Now faced 17 shots since he came in. Whitney's one-timer blocked. And Getzlaf can't clear it past Whitney. Final 20 seconds of the power play. Goligoski feeds it over. And Peverley's shot, again absorbed by Anderson. What's been impressive, Brian, is when he absorbs those shots and doesn't get rebound.
Rebound control has been superb for Big Frederik Anderson. You can see he's able to take a little peek up at the clock, just making sure, seeing how much time is not only left in the power play, but it's you want to believe he's watching that clock for other reasons as well.
Now, Anderson was originally drafted by the Carolina Hurricanes in 2010, taken in the 7th round that year, but stayed in Europe. The Canes unable to sign him to the point where the Ducks were able to draft him. They then took him in the 3rd round in 2012. They were able to get him under contract. This is now his 2nd year in North America. Penalty is over. Out of the box, Lindholm. The Ducks full strength as again Anderson handles the long shot and holds on. Well, head over to the Tilted Kilt in Orange this Tuesday. That's October the 22nd, as the Ducks begin the road trip in Toronto against the Maple Leafs. It's a 4 o'clock start. The street team will host an official watch party. Great food, drinks, and the opportunity to win all kinds of autographed Ducks items as well. Go to AnaheimDucks.com/watch party for more details.
This will be our first opportunity to speak with former Ducks coach Randy Carlyle. As the Leafs off to a good start this season. Been planning the Stanley Cup parade in my hometown city of Toronto.
They made the playoffs last year, so it's a foregone conclusion, right? It had been, what, 8 or 9 years since the Leafs had made the playoffs. And the strange workings of the NHL, Carlyle, signed at the end of the year 2 years ago by the Maple Leafs, has never come back to Anaheim. Then with the lockout-shortened season, the West didn't play the East. Net is off behind Frederik Andersen.
Big Freddie Andersen, he's kind of a flatliner, isn't he? I mean, he doesn't look all that emotional. I got to believe inside, though, that stomach is turning just a little bit.
20 shots since he came into the game. 20 saves since he came into the game. And face-off will come outside the blue line. The rule is a Dallas player who knocked the net off, so Tyler Seguin to take the draw. Thought he had won it, but Winnick stepped in and pitched it across the ice. Shoveled down low by Cogliano. Andrew knocked to his knees, gets up. And Winnick has 2 men draped all over him, and from his knees keeps it alive. Good effort.
Yeah, real good battle there by Daniel Winnick. And again, keep in mind, I mean, this is the big line. This is Seguin and Benn on the ice for the Stars. And Koivu, Winnick, and Cogliano entrusted once again with the tough assignment trying to contain the opponent's best player.
A strange bounce off the stanchion as Eric Cole tried to just scale it out of the zone. It came back into the middle of the ice. Here's Jamie Benn rattling the high glass with a long wrist shot. Getzlaf has it in his feet and is able to work it out. A long way to go at Honda Center. Not yet 4 minutes into the third period. The Ducks lead Dallas 4-3. Lovejoy reverses it hard around. Boschma gets the handle and it's punched out by Corey Perry. I don't know if Palmieri could have played that puck or not. I don't think so. It would have been a hand pass. And now Daly whips it back in behind his own goal.
No, I was just thinking, watching Trevor Daly, we have not seen him really jump into the rush tonight.
No.
Which is something that Trevor Daly is known for.
He's a leading goal scorer amongst defensemen for the Stars a year ago. Palmieri wins a battle. Here's Getzlaf. Score!
Been a big night so far for Ryan Getzlaf and Corey Perry. Good job by Palmieri to spot Perry, but he does a terrific job of handling that puck before he dishes it off to the captain. Rolling puck. Both Getzlaf and Perry have the ability to catch those pucks and they're not sitting flat, settle it down. They have such poise when they do get it on their stick.
4-point night for the captain. Palmieri and Perry will draw the assists. And again, Anaheim with a goal in the first 5 minutes of the period. And it's 5-3. That bid by Edom deflected out of play, so we'll let you know, fans, the Ducks have scored 5 goals, so that means Hooters will reward you with 5 free wings. Go to AnaheimDucks.com/Hooters right now. Print the coupon. It's redeemable at any Southern California Hooters location for the next 24 hours.
Now, we just got an update from the Anaheim locker room regarding Dustin Penner. It says that he is currently under evaluation here at Honda Center. He did briefly lose consciousness on the ice, but he has full mobility and is walking now under his own power. So we hope the guy they call Big Pens is going to be okay.
Just joining us, it was a Ryan Garbutt hit in the second period that resulted in Penner's leaving the game, and that unconscious spell that was just mentioned on the ice. It was brief, but it's always a little disconcerting when you watch that. When the Ducks have responded, they trailed 3-2 at the time. They've scored 4 unanswered goals after trailing 3-1 at the end of the first period. They're now on top 5-3. And Silverberg able to flip it out, a bouncing puck. Perry will get to it. Doesn't have anybody with him, so he just chops it in behind the Dallas goal. Brendan Dillon reverses it away, and Stefan Romanov moves it ahead. Brian Allen mixing it up in front of the Dallas bench, and the Ducks, in the meantime, get possession. Perry from a sharp angle wide. Allen uses his skate to hold it in. Mottman throws it towards the net. That barely stayed in the barn. Perreault with a one-timer. That's a rolling puck set up by Perry, and then Mottman fans on it.
And the Stars have looked a little bit fatigued here in the last couple of shifts. And every time I see a team willing to shoot the puck from long distances, John, and wrist shots from across the blue line rather than flipping it into the corners and working to get it back.
Campbell came out to play it, nearly gave it away.
I start to think that fatigue is definitely becoming a factor.
Koivu breaks it up in the neutral zone. Winnick has it and just hinges it back for Lindholm. Shots 37-33 in favor of the Ducks. That was played by a high stick of Daniel Winnick. So play goes on as Goligoski gets to it first. Daly rims it around. Bushman activates to keep it in. Referee gets tangled up in the puck. That draws the ire of the faithful at Honda Center. Cogliano charges in after it. He got his shoulder inside on Goligoski. And now Winnick does the same on Trevor Daly. Goligoski is going to take a penalty as he gave Cogliano a rough ride in the corner.
I think they're both going to go. I think he's got both Goligoski and Andrew Cogliano, so we're going to have a little 4-on-4 hockey upcoming.
It's been a big night for the captain. He had 3 assists through 2. He's added a goal here in the third.
Well, the battle ensues between Andrew Cogliano and Alex Goligoski. They take turns knocking one another down and punching each other in the head, and they're both going to go. And I agree with the referee's call. He's going to sit them both for the next 2 minutes. So not a bad deal if you're the Dallas Stars. You're trailing by a couple of goals. This is going to open up the ice. 4-on-4 hockey for the next 2 minutes.
Penalties count the 7-minute mark. Perry and Lovejoy combined to get the puck into the point. Ben and Perry battle one another in the near corner. Getzlaf throws it in front, and it's out of the reach of Corey Perry. Perry has 2 goals on the night. He's got it in front. Oh, and a hop his stick as Getzlaf again put it right on his tape. It's Dillon who leads the rush the other way for Dallas. Put it right through the crease trying to return the favor to Chiasson. Instead, it's stretched by Getzlaf, who jumps into the play. Perry behind the back to Fowler. Good save by Campbell.
A nice stop by Jack Campbell. Fowler, remember he tested him high blocker. He picks it up a little bit here. Here's the drop pass by Perry, and that's a dangerous shot because Fowler is actually inside the faceoff dot. And just before that, Ryan Getzlaf spotted Corey Perry and saw that puck just jump over his stick. He had Campbell dead to rights.
The Stars give up over 34 shots on goal a game coming into tonight. They've already surrendered 38 to the Ducks. Anaheim is second in the league this season in the early going in shots on goal per game. They average over 36 a contest. Turnover in the Anaheim zone as Winnick was trying to return the pass to Hampus Lindholm. Still a minute remaining in the 4-on-4 play. Jordy Benn works the line with Ray Whitney. Whitney tries to give it back to him in a 2-man game, and then it's centered right through an empty slot by Jamie Benn. Gonchar puts it down low, and a good job by Lindholm to win the puck and then reverse it away from pressure.
You know, he continues to impress, John, making those heady little plays with the puck. And like a lot of Swedish trained players, he just doesn't give it up very easily.
Schuskip nearly got to that loose puck, but it's Emerson Edom who gets it at center. Off the wing, he fires it right into the breadbasket of Jack Campbell, who holds on.
You know, we're talking about Jack Campbell. He's had an okay debut, I would call it, in this game. It's a tough game. You play the second game in 2 nights. You know you're going to be busy on the road. The bottom line for the Dallas Stars is they got to get Kari Lehtonen back. I mean, he's a star goaltender when he is healthy. And for a team with a lot of young players, they knew this season that Lehtonen was the guy that was going to give them a chance to win a lot of games.
This is the 5th straight game Lettinen has missed with the lower body injury. You have to worry a little bit. Lettinen has been almost chronic throughout his career with the hip problems, the groin issues, the back problems.
Yep.
The more he misses, the more you wonder how long he could end up being out. We just had a good look at Dan Ellis, the one-time Duck on the Dallas bench. He had started the last 4 games for the Stars. And despite the loss last night at Staples Center, Brian, I thought Ellis was very good in that game. The Stars turned the puck over and gave up a number of breakaways in that game. 5 goals given up included an empty net goal, so Ellis gave his team a chance.
I just think the bottom line is that good goaltending isn't good enough for this team right now. They need great goaltending to be able to survive.
Fowler misfires and Campbell covers off the end wall. Join Roger Lodge as he hosts the Sports Lodge weekday afternoons from 4 to 7 on AM 830. For more details, visit the website am830.net.
The Ducks came into this game saying we got to shut down Tyler Seguin, and they've done that tonight. Seguin and Ben have not had a lot of scoring chances, especially at even strength. They've had some on the power play, but at even strength, not much. So, again, Koivu line, Bolsherman, the defense in along with Lindholm have done a nice job on that duel of Ben in particular.
Perry doesn't get much on it as Getzlaf sets him up and it's kicked away by Campbell. And back-checking Getzlaf takes the puck away, then misses Perry with the long stretch pass that is deemed icing.
Great job by Getzlaf on the back check. He gets the turnover. And he's looking for his buddy streaking down the right side. Did not miss him by much.
I think the captain may stay with the lavender tape on his stick after the night he's had tonight. Not saying he's superstitious or anything. I know I would. Lavender is the color of the night as it's Hockey Fights Cancer night here at the Honda Center. Anaheim leading the Stars 5-3. Eric Cole, the former Clarkston Golden Knight, plays it to the line. Purpose shot off the end boards, trying to get it to Seguin at the side of the net from Robidoux. Now Seguin centers, but staying put was Bolsherman to intercept. And Perry just feeds it out to center. The Ducks want to get a change. Stars trying to catch him on that change. Seguin hits the brakes, pulls up. Robidoux coming late. Bad save by Anderson. The rebound trickles away.
He gets a break. It goes through him and out the other side.
Winnick on his own. Stutter steps his way into the Dallas zone. Tries to go short side, and Campbell holds on to that. Frederick Anderson came in after the first period. He's made all 22 saves. Sometimes it's good to be lucky as well.
Did you earlier on Dustin Penner in the Anaheim locker room being evaluated, walking under his own power. Here was the hit by Ryan Garbett, who left his feet, made contact with the head of Dustin Penner. You could see that he was needed the help of his teammates just to get off the ice.
That shortened Bruce Boudreau's bench early in the second period.
No official on the ice actually saw that hit, and that's why there was a penalty not assessed to Ryan Garbett, which definitely would have if anyone had been actually watching that sector of the ice.
We'll keep our eye on the league offices. Moving forward. Perreault skates it to center for the Ducks. And pursues it, gets it in front to Solani, and a big rebound off of Campbell, who stepped way out. Silverberg was unable to track it down. The Stars clear the other way, and Anaheim back into the Dallas zone. Solani gets to it, and Campbell gets over. Ryan Allen, Botman swats it back in, and the Ducks touch it while offside.
A couple of good chances there for the Ducks' second line. That was Teemu Selanne right on the doorstep, and a good stop by the goaltender Jack Campbell, and then a little lift of the stick by Selanne. Gets away from Eakin and gets another opportunity. So Teemu has Still skating well, still generating chances.
Way back in the first period, he got the scoring started in this one on the power play. Anaheim's extra man unit going as well as it has all year with a couple of goals in this one. They have a shorthanded goal as well. It's been a big special teams night.
Happiest man in the building will be Bruce Boudreau with that power play goal.
Yeah.
He's just sick of talking about power play struggles this year.
I think there's any doubt about that. Allen from behind the net uses the boards, and Palmieri gets it to Edom. Edom hip checked into the Dallas bench, but able to nudge it free. And then he goes in and delivers the hit. Trevor Daley was on the receiving end of that one.
We figured that Edom could really become a force in this league as a forechecking forward with that kind of speed and power that he possesses. And he's only getting bigger and stronger too, John.
Just make sure you dump it in his corner, right?
Yep. And it doesn't have to be a perfect dumping for him either, because he does have the kind of intimidating speed that is going to keep goaltenders back in their crease and not play a lot of pucks when he's on the ice.
Wilson is stepping up. He delivers a hit on Vern Fiddler. There's a nice hit. Now Garbutt gives Silverberg a bump. Getzlaf steals the puck and sends it ahead, trying to find a streaking Silverberg. Ryan Garbutt is someone that the Ducks have taken notice of tonight, as we just showed you the hit on Penner from earlier. Ducks have 44 shots on goal and lead 5-3 with just over 6 to go, and they're whistled for an icing here.
Well, the Ducks starting to hit. They started the second period. That was the bump by Emerson Edom on Trevor Daley. This was Francois Beauchemin standing up on Vern Fiddler. And you know what? It's the first time, John, we have seen Beauchemin all season long stand up in the neutral zone. So a good sign, perhaps. That is a textbook shoulder check. Keeps his arm down, his elbow down.
Swept across the Anaheim zone off the faceoff, and it flutters into the netting above the high glass as Jordy Benn's shot was deflected by Cogliano.
The Stars 6:06 remaining. They know they got to get one and get one in a hurry here. So this might be the real last push by Dallas with their top line on the ice. You can kind of look at the face of Jamie Benn. You can see the fatigue in that face.
He wins the draw again, whips it just wide. Chopped at by Winnick, it doesn't come out. Jamie Benn throws it to the net. Cole was trying to run the screen. Allen unable to clear, and Benn gets another bid blockered away by Anderson.
Good shot by Frederick Anderson there. Benn knows what he's doing.
Seguin tied up by Vatanen as he comes out of the corner. Benn comes up with a loose puck. Whether that shot got through to Anderson. Now Jordy Benn's shot does get through. The rebound between the circles, lifted out of harm's way by Winnick.
You know, a good adjustment by Lindy Ruff as he gets Eric Cole on the line with Benn and Seguin in tonight's game. And that line has been more dangerous ever since the big winger was added into the mix.
Long pass off the boards, played by Anderson, who again throws it back ahead at center for a streaking Solani. Solani has Perreault with him, but he's double teamed as Trevor Daley got his stick in there, and Eakin on the back check was involved as well. Held in left point by Fowler. Solani down low and right through the crease by Emerson Edom. Lovejoy from a bad angle. That went off of Campbell, back out to Milani. Fowler to Edom, wrist shot, score! Tipped in! Matthew Perreault.
Neighborhood. Edom just throws it towards the net. I don't know if Perreault gets it or if that goes in off Eakin. Here's a look at it. Difficult to tell from that angle. The Ducks don't care much. They've now got a 3-goal lead with under 5 to play.
Well, they can make their decisions as to who scored all the goals tonight after this. game's over, right? They can get together in the locker room, they can commiserate and decide who gets what. What matters is they've got 6. Ducks came into tonight 5th in the league in goal scoring, and they've done nothing to hurt that standing. They have doubled up the Stars. We're now late in the 3rd. You and I have been known to promise a lot of things over the course of a broadcast, but we always deliver on this one. It's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite.
And it was the thing I thought that really knocked the wind out of the Dallas Stars tonight. The goal by Emerson Edom, shorthanded. Cogliano and Edom teaming up for a beauty to give the Ducks a 4-3 lead.
That stands up right now as what would be the game winner in a 6-3 Anaheim lead, but there's a little matter of 4.5 minutes to go at Honda Center. Peverly on the backhand trying to come from behind the net, and Allen just erasing Nichushkin. And it's swatted out by Silverberg. Young Valerie Nichushkin, just 18 years of age. The youngest Dallas player ever to appear in a Stars game, the 5th youngest in franchise history, going back to their Minnesota days. More discussions after the whistle, and guess who it involves? Roussel and Paul Marion. As we reflect back on the goaltending change that brought Frederik Andersen into his first ever NHL game, some 24 shots in 2 periods ago.
Well, the Ducks were down 3-1 when Andersen came in, but I think the most distinctive moments for me, John, were of the number of saves Andersen made tonight where the puck would just stick to him.
Yeah.
Great rebound control for a young man making his NHL debut.
24-year-old Anaheim netminder came in with the Ducks down 3-1. 5 unanswered goals since then. He is the goaltender of record. As Gonchar reverses it behind the Dallas goal, under 4 minutes to go. A 10-minute misconduct was given out during that last whistle to Antoine Roussel, so the Ducks will no longer engage with him the rest of the evening. Anaheim looking to make it a perfect homestand to start the season. And what a great way that would be to go out on the road for your next 8.
Yep, they said they want to reestablish themselves. They did it last year as a dominant team and playing at home. And what a start it's been.
They were the 7th best home team in the league a year ago. And now Beauchemin behind the play is going to go with Jamie Benn. Both coaches hold their breath. Left hands from Beauche. Right hands from Jamie Benn. Not a lot of defense from either one. Beauchemin gets rid of Benn's helmet.
All right, better hold on now.
Yeah, Ben was going with the left hand uppercuts. Looks like he may have been cut by the visor of his helmet. Looks like his hand is cut as well. He may have cut his hand on Jamie Benn's helmet. That's why he wanted to get rid of it.
Well, here's the run by Jamie Benn. Not much of one. Not much going on. A little bit of a discussion. And then there's the challenge. And tell you what, Jamie Benn distinguished himself, John, because when they first squared off, I thought this was not going to end well for him. But shows a little something there. Taking on a pretty tough customer in Francois Beauchemin.
I wonder if Jamie Benn knew he was going up against the left-hander. We always wonder that out loud when Francois gets involved.
I
would imagine he knew that. Yep.
I think everybody saw the Iginla fight years ago in the playoffs.
Going 7 years ago now.
Yep.
Fairly memorable, though. Here's Eakin into the Anaheim zone offside with Goligoski as the clock winds to 3:02. Unless Dallas can mount a monumental comeback here, Anaheim on the verge of tying a franchise record for consecutive victories. This would be 7 in a row if the score holds.
Funny, after all these years with Dallas being a divisional opponent, now they're not, and these teams seem to hate one another more than they ever have.
The acrimony didn't change with the divisional alignment, that's for sure. Edom bumped off by Goligoski as he tips it into the zone. Hard around, and Lovejoy unable to hold it at the point. He and Fowler back into their own zone. Stretched ahead off the skate of Perry. That'll go deep and enable a change. Alex Goligoski, product of the University of Minnesota, has his pass knocked down by Perreault. Silverberg can't get it through Goligoski into the Dallas zone. Now he does. And Dillon chased behind the goal by Taylor Solani. Turned over. Silverberg flips it off the end glass. Solani wins the puck from Goligoski. Wide open, Sammy Vatanen. Pass back for Solani, tipped it wide.
Boy, that was a smart play by Vatanen right there.
He gets it from Solani again. That's tipped right out on a loose rebound in front for a moment. Vatanen, great play. Oh, he didn't get to it in time. Thought he held it in for a moment. As do the paying linesmen at Honda Center.
We're going to have a lot of fun watching Sammy Vatanen over the years here in Anaheim, because whenever he's on the ice, stuff happens. He's involved in everything. Loves to jump into the attack as a fourth player. He's a terrific skater. You can see how much fun he's having.
You've got to think a 22-year-old out of Finland is looking for Teemu Solani every chance he gets, too. It was a smart play, as you mentioned. It's almost ingrained. Stars through center, unable to connect with Eric Cole. And Palmieri flips it back in. As you mentioned, Brian, no longer division foes. These teams are only going to play 3 times this year. The next meeting will be in Dallas as Edam's bid is blocked. That is on the 26th of November. And then the Stars are back here on February the 1st, just shy of the Olympic break. And that's it. Ducks fans accustomed to seeing the Stars 6 times a year. Dallas may be the team that benefited the most from the realignment, however, of divisions as they find themselves now in the Central, and the travel will be greatly reduced for them.
Yeah, it's great for them, too, because they get a lot more of their games watchable by their fans in the right time zone, too, which is important, I think, in the Dallas market as they're trying to recapture their season ticket base.
Under a minute now to go, as Anaheim is 30 seconds away from their 7th consecutive win. Will tie a franchise record. Vatanen just angles it in, and they come to their feet at Honda Center. It didn't look good for a while, down 3-1 after 1, but a re-energized Duck squad carried the play the rest of the way. Ray Whitney trying to clear. Lindholm holds it in and sends another one just wide of Jack Campbell. And that's going to do it. The Ducks pull away in the end. Frederik Andersen with his first ever NHL victory and a franchise record-tying 7-game win streak, matching a mark from 14 years ago.
It was a sleepy start tonight, John, for the Ducks, but boy, when they turned it on at the start of the second period, they looked unstoppable.
And what a night for the captain. He led the way in a 4-point night. 3 assists on the first 3 Anaheim goals before he would pot one himself.
He is the whole package. Terrific playmaker. Got terrific vision. Set up Fowler, and there was no point on that one. It could have been more tonight. Great pass to Corey Perry. Wins a face-off, kicks it back. And finishes his night off in style as he slips it between the arm and the body of the young goaltender Campbell. So a dominant final 2 periods in this game tonight secures the 2 points, and this Duck team is rolling as they get ready to head out onto the road.